Why are running backs not getting paid? How can the NFL fix the running back problem? There are 5 simple answers to the NFL's issue with running backs. We'll discuss these in the first part of the video, but we will discuss the best way to fix the problem afterward. 1. Current-day general managers find it easier financially to have a stable of running backs than to have a single bell cow runner. 2. College running backs adapt to the professional level faster than any other position. 3. You can draft a running back in the later rounds and find a good one. 4. Veteran running backs are readily available in free agency. 5. Running backs typically have a short lifespan because of the abuse they take on their body. Good general managers use their team's money wisely. They have a limited budget and a roster full of positions to fill year after year. With teams' passing games taking emphasis and quarterbacks getting paid more money than ever, it had a domino effect on skill positions getting paid higher. Receivers, tight ends, and linemen are being paid at the same trajectory as quarterbacks, but not running backs. Even though running backs get the most usage out of all skill positions, they are not paid accordingly. For example, former New York Giant Saquon Barkley rushed the ball 247 times and caught 41 passes, a total of 288 touches in 2023. In the same year, Darren Waller touched the ball 52 times. Barkley was paid $12,091,000. Waller was paid $11,850,000. Christian McCaffrey touched the ball 339 times in 2023, while Deebo Samuel got 97 touches in the same year. CMC was paid roughly $12 million, while Deebo was paid $18 million roughly. Would you call that fair? These teams believed in the bell cow method. The Giants were a bad team, while the Niners made it to the Super Bowl. Other teams, like Brett Veach and the Chiefs, decided to have a stable of running backs. Andy Reid used a combination of Clyde Edwards-Helaire, Jerick McKinnon, and 7th-round pick Isaiah Pacheco. Pacheco has been the hot hand for most of the year. He took a featured role and contributed to his team winning back-to-back Super Bowls 57 and 58. He made $985,000 in 2023. That proves the first and second points. Pacheco has been a big contributor for Kansas City, alleviating some of Patrick Mahomes' workload, and the Chiefs found him in the 7th round. The Rams found Kyren Williams in the 5th round. He's not only been a lethal threat for fantasy football owners, but Sean McVay has been thrilled to feature Williams in his offense in Los Angeles. Looking to the other side of the country, Mike McDaniel and the Miami Dolphins featured a two-headed monster with Raheem Mostert and Devon Achane. Achane was a 3rd-round pick. Mostert was undrafted, and they got him cheap in free agency. Baltimore picked up Derrick Henry in free agency for $8 million per year. The former Titan veteran had been a dominant force for Tennessee, and to get him at that cost is an incredible value. Derrick Henry and Lamar Jackson in the same backfield? How crazy is that? The lifespan of running backs shortens because of the toll play callers put them through. It was very annoying to see John Gruden and then Josh McDaniels predictively smash Josh Jacobs into 8-man boxes on first down. At least Kyle Shanahan and some modern-day play callers come up with ways to get the ball to their running backs creatively without having to be dinosaur stubborn. Josh Jacobs won't have to worry about that now, while in Green Bay, Matt LaFleur will feature Jacobs in a balanced attack with Jordan Love and a young group of receivers. But hopefully, JJ has enough tread on the tires coming from the Raiders. As we have seen over the last decade, there has been a significant shift that has benefited most teams. Yeah, having a bell cow running back who gets 1,500 yards on the ground is much sexier to a fan base than having a few players split the load, but those days have passed. Or have they? Maybe teams like Detroit are onto something. Prior to the 2023 season, they signed David Montgomery in free agency and drafted Jahmyr Gibbs in the 1st round. Dan Campbell rode them into the playoffs, and they were a quarter away from playing in the Super Bowl. A smash-mouth attitude with an innovative twist from Ben Johnson calling plays showed the league that running the ball still works. But we'll see. Some teams just don't get the X and O's of the game. The 4 main running backs that ruined the value of the position were Todd Gurley when he was with the Rams, Melvin Gordon with the Chargers, Ezekiel Elliott in Dallas, David Johnson in Arizona, and Le'Veon Bell with the Jets. They each signed big money deals for the time, but then immediately fell off in performance. The teams were scarred from the lousy returns on their investment, and the league hit a turning point. That was in the end of paying big money to running backs that got hurt or unmotivated to keep pounding the rock. Prior to that, it seemed less often that running backs would falter after signing deals. When Adrian Peterson dominated all day in Minnesota, the passion he ran with was inspiring. When Marshawn Lynch took the field, he was the most respected back in the league. Beast mode was very difficult to bring down, dealing fear to many defenders he faced during his time in the league. Even in old age, he still put up numbers in Oakland. Arian Foster had a decent run with the Texans before aging out of the league. Frank Gore was a bruiser. The longtime Niner was legendary in San Francisco, pounding the rock for his team. Chris Johnson was the fastest runner of them all. He lasted 6 straight seasons over 1,000 yards and got a bag with the Titans before fizzling out. It's sad to see running backs not last as long these days, and I'm sure fans are tired of seeing their teams not retain their big-name running backs. Factoring in all of this information, we can see that there is an issue, and we promised that we'd tell you the solution. In the same way that modern-day coaches are utilizing their running backs creatively, general managers can take the same approach but use the cap to pay their running backs creatively. Take Howie Roseman, for example. He signed Saquon Barkley at a base rate and included some incentives that if Saquon reached them, he would be paid as one of the top running backs. The Giants were not matching that contract. They did not even offer Saquon. Kind of seems disrespectful, but really, they just had to bite the bullet that they signed the wrong man. The Giants overpaid an unproven Daniel Jones $40 million per year instead of giving some of that money to Saquon. The Raiders let Josh Jacobs walk in free agency. Green Bay paid him a $12 million per year contract, and Jacobs quickly took the deal. New Raiders general manager Tom Telesco did not have any sentimental value with Jacobs, and it didn't help that he had first-hand experience in giving big money to one of his former running backs, Melvin Gordon. It's clear that his philosophy has changed with the rest of the league. But we can fix the problem. Running backs may not like the idea at first, but it's not like they're getting paid what they want anyway. Level with me here. Let's take the Raiders and Josh Jacobs scenario. Antonio Pierce really wanted to re-sign Jacobs, but Telesco stood firm from his experience. What if Telesco offered Jacobs $8 million per year as a base salary, but then incentivized an extra $16 million in milestones for Jacobs to reach? This would benefit both the team and the running back. If the running back performs and reaches the milestones, he gets paid what he's earned, and the team is a beneficiary of his production. If the running back gets hurt or decides to get complacent, then the team is protected from having to pay for unrealized production. If the running back is not willing to bet on himself, that may be a red flag, and he is free to play for a guarantee elsewhere. But we're not proposing average money incentives. We're proposing big money incentives that make a player seek a challenge. The details and milestones for Jacobs could be as follows. Base salary, $8 million. If you show up for the offseason program, $1 million. If you play a complete 17-game season, $2 million. If you rush for 1,200 yards, $2 million. If you receive 500 yards, $1 million. For every additional 100 yards, $500,000 will be added to your total. If you get 12 touchdowns, $2 million. For every additional touchdown, an additional $500,000 will be added to your total. Now, let's say Jacobs shows up to training camp and plays an entire season. He rushes for 1,800 yards and 16 touchdowns, receives 500 yards, and catches 6 touchdowns. His total earnings would be $24 million. It sounds like a lot financially, but if a running back produces those numbers, come on, NFL, pay the man. Considering supply and demand, the demand for running backs has never really changed, but the supply of running backs is high. But guess what else is high? The CBA and TV deals are getting higher year after year. Implementing the proposal will preserve the running back position and send an encouraging message that the league appreciates the skill position they abuse the most. If not, the message that the NFL teams are sending to future running backs is to stop playing running back. But you know what? In Q4 of 2023, according to the U.S. Bureau of Labor, the average working American makes a U.S. annual salary of $59,384. An NFL minimum contract is around $1 million. The big-name running backs that were signed in free agency in 2023 were getting at least $8 million per year. That means it would take the average American earner 16 years to make the NFL minimum. And it would take the average American earner 134.7 years to make what the $8 million running backs make in 1 year. So, for any of you running backs watching this, keep in mind that running the football in the NFL is still an amazing opportunity that many kids dream of achieving. Don't let the business side of football ruin your love for the game. Get your money, but understand that just being in the NFL puts you a lot further than the other 99% of the world.
But I appreciate it. Thank y'all. I have a good day.